Today we are going to do a little bit more review for our upcoming MAPS test. We are having this test once again in April, and that will be the final time for the year. So if you would, look at the first problem for me. Once you have the answer, I want you to write it on your board. We talked about this earlier in the year about probability. It says a bag of Runts has 20 pieces of candy. 8 are banana, 6 are blueberry, 2 are orange, and 4 are lime. If you randomly choose one out of the bag, what is the probability of choosing an orange one? Okay, so it's been a while since we've talked about it, but we talked about part over, do you guys remember what the bottom word would be?
Whole.
Part over whole, okay? What part are we looking for? We are looking for something that's what?
2.
Orange, okay? How many oranges did it say there were?
2.
Okay, so since there's 2 orange, that's the part I'm looking for. The whole is the total number that you have there. How many pieces of candy were in the bag? 2 out of 20. Now, on your test, you might have an option that says this, but that's actually not the answer because it can be reduced. Do you guys know what that could be reduced to?
1/10.
It could be reduced to 1/10, okay? All you would need to do if that was the case is divide by 2 on the top and divide by 2 on the bottom. Now, some people said that it was a 10% chance. That also would be correct because you turned that into a percentage. Now, remember we talked about likelihood. This problem didn't ask for it, but do you guys remember what's the likelihood if it was 10%? Unlikely. That means it's probably not going to happen that you pull out an orange one. All right, for this next problem, very similar to that, this one is talking all about M&Ms. There's 75 M&Ms in a bag. 18 are green, 8 are brown, 20 are blue, 12 are orange, and 17 are red. If you randomly choose one out of the bag, what's the probability of choosing a blue one? Now, I've given you 4 answer options. On your boards, I want you to write whether it's A, B, C, or D. So what color is it that we're looking for, guys?
Blue.
We are looking for blue. How many blue are there? 20. So, remember, part over whole. So 20 out of how many are total in the bag? 75. So a lot of you looked at these options and you said, yep, there it is. That's my answer. But what do you think might not be quite accurate about that answer?
It's not reduced.
It's not reduced. What number can go into a 20 that can go into a 75? A 5. So I can divide by 5 on top, divide by 5 on bottom. What's 20 divided by 5?
4.
4. And what is 75 divided by 5?
20.
15.
Oh, 15. Sorry.
15. Okay, which answer is up there?
D.
So the correct answer should have been D. Here's what I want to help you with. When you have a multiple choice test, always go through and see, could any of these other answers also be accurate, or in this case, more accurate? Okay, so when a lot of you saw this, you thought it was saying, what is half of 10? But it did not say what is half of 10. What did it say?
1/2 of 10.
What is 1/2 divided by 10? So when I think back to this, I think I'm taking 1/2 divided by, if I wanted to turn this into a fraction, I could put 10 over 1. Okay? Do you remember you're not allowed to divide fractions? What method do we have to use?
KFC.
We have to use KFC. So you keep the first one, you flip the second one. What would the 10 over 1 become?
1/10.
1 over 10. And then change the operation from divide to multiply. Now here's where some people also forgot. What's 1 times 1? 1. And then what is 2 times 10? 20. So what's the correct answer? 1/20th.
We were the closest, so.
All right, we're going to go on to another one. This one asks, what is 1/2 divided by 3? Remember, it's not asking what's half of 3. 1/2 divided by 3. Okay, so we're doing it the same exact way. A half divided by 3 over 1. We keep the first one, flip the second one, change the operation, and what do we get?
1/6.
1/6. All right, the next one. 1/2 divided by 20 over 1. I'm not allowed to divide fractions, so I keep the first one, flip the second one, change the operation. I still have people who are leaving out that numerator. 1 times 1 is? 1. 2 times 20 is? 40. So the correct answer would be 1/40th. All right, it looks like everyone is understanding in this case. Keep the first one, flip the second one, change the operation, and the correct answer is 1/14, which all of you got. Okay, so it's asking us what's equivalent or what's the same exact thing as 30 minus 5. Let's look at this. Do you think that that is the same thing? No, so I can cross that out because even if I were to remove these parentheses right here, it would say 30 plus 5. That's not the same thing as that. Therefore, this can get crossed out completely. Let's go to the next one. If I were to remove those parentheses, what would it say?
30 minus
It would say 30 minus 5. Is that what this says? Yes, so that's the answer. But I want to just keep going just to double check and make sure that's the correct answer. Guys, what's this called when there's two negatives side by side? It's a double negative. So we need to turn that into a positive. 30 plus 5, is that what I'm looking for? No, so I could also cross that one out. Let's go to this one. When I have a positive and a negative side by side, who wins?
No, negative.
The negative wins, so I can cancel this out. So what's left?
25.
30 minus 5. Is that the same thing?
Yeah.
Yes. So in this case, there were actually two answers. It could have been B or D. Okay, so let's look at this same idea one more time. Guys, out of a positive and a negative, who wins?
Negative.
The negative. So this is saying 40 minus 10. Out of a plus and a minus, who wins? The minus wins, minus 5. Does that look like this? Yes. So seemingly A is going to be our answer. But once again, whenever you have a multiple choice type test, I want you to go look through every single option to see what else might be true. Guys, when you have two negatives side by side, what does that turn into? Class? A positive. Is that what I wanted this to be right there? No. So we can tell that gets canceled out. How about this one? What will that turn into? Positive. Is that what I wanted this to be? No. So what can I do to that one? Cross it out. Let's look at this next one. I have a positive and a negative. Who wins? Negative wins. Is that what I wanted up here? Yes. So this might be right. Now let's look at this one. Two negatives side by side. What does it become?
Monster positive.
A positive. And is that what we wanted there? No. So then we also canceled out that option, leaving it could only have been A. Okay. Looking for things that are equivalent. Almost everybody said C. So I'm going to just double check and see if you're correct. Guys, these two negatives become a what? A positive. As I look back up here, I did want that to be a positive. What happens to these two? It becomes a negative. When you're adding a negative, the answer is negative. So that is correct. For those of you who said C, that's correct, okay? If I look at this, the negative would have won, and I didn't want it to be a negative. As I look over here, I wanted it to be a positive. Looking at these two, those two would have turned into a positive, so that looks good so far, but then when I look at this, that would have also turned into a positive. Therefore, it could not be that one, okay? And the same thing happens down here. Those two negatives would have equaled a positive, so that couldn't have been the answer either, leaving only C to be the correct answer. Okay, we're going to move on to a new idea for number 10. It says a cookie recipe uses 5 teaspoons of oil to make 50 cookies. How many teaspoons of oil would be used to make 110 cookies? We talked about proportions a while ago, so if you can think of how to make a proportion, that could help you find this answer. Okay, so when I talk about a proportion, we're going to say that there are 5 teaspoons. And how many teaspoons, the 5 teaspoons of oil made how many cookies, guys?
50.
It made 50 cookies. All right, so 5 teaspoons of oil per 50 cookies. Now, I am trying to figure out how many teaspoons of oil, so I'm just going to say X for 110 cookies. How many of you have seen problems like this before?
Me.
It's been a long time, hasn't it? So let's do some cross multiplying. I could do 5 times 110 equals 50 times X. Is there anyone who did it this way? Okay, so this is 550, 50X. How do I get X by itself?
Divide by 50.
divide by 50 on both sides. When you do that, what do you get? Anyone?
11 teaspoons of
11 teaspoons.
I got it. We got it. Didn't show. Yeah, I did it a different way.
Now, there are other ways of doing this. So here's another way you could do it. Do you guys remember mental math?
Yes.
Okay, so right now our goal is to figure out what this x is. In order to do that, I have to figure out how to get from 5 to an x, which means I need to find the missing link for how to get from a 50 to a 110. And that's kind of what Abigail did. She took 110 divided by 50. What did you get when you did that? 2.2. So that means 2.2 is our missing link. So 50 times 2.2 equals 110. If I multiply the bottom by 2.2, what should I do to the top? So if we multiply the bottom by 2.2, we're going to multiply the top by 2.2. So guys, what is 5 times 2.2? 11. Once again, we got the same exact answer that we did before, but it was using mental math. Okay, so if you do this the same exact way, we know that 10 tablespoons, okay, are used for how many cupcakes? 30 cupcakes. So if I have tablespoons on the top on the left, I also have to have it on the top on the right. I am looking for tablespoons, so that's going to be my x per how many cupcakes?
30.
How many, guys? 165. I want to use mental math just because it's the faster way, okay? So I am trying to figure out how to get from an x, so I've got to figure out what the missing link is from 10 to x. You do that by figuring out the missing link from 30 to 165. Guys, what's 165 divided by 30? What is it? 5.5. So if I multiply times 5.5 on the bottom, I also have to,
Multiply by 5.5 on the top.
and when you multiply 10 times 5.5, what do you get?
55 tablespoons.
55 tablespoons of butter. It is a All right, so here we've got a problem with the world's best candy, Cadbury mini eggs. For every 9 Cadbury mini eggs a person eats, they consume 160 calories. So if I wanted to make a proportion, 9 eggs, for every 9 eggs, we said it's 160 calories. Now, this person didn't just eat 9 eggs. How many did they eat?
They ate 45.
They ate 45 eggs. They must have also thought they were their favorite, just like me. I'm trying to figure out how many calories. We don't know yet, so I'm going to put it as an x. All right, so our goal is to figure out how to get from 160 to x. I can do that by finding the missing link from 9 to 45. What do I have to multiply by to get over there?
You have to multiply 5.
Times 5. So you would just multiply the bottom by 5. Guys, if you multiply 160 times 5, what do you get?
800
800 calories. All right, that ends our review for today.